I always try and tidy my craft room every January. It's just so necessary because otherwise your inspiration and creation becomes stifled. This time I have been particularly strict. I've had 4 piles: recycle, donate, rubbish or keep. Hi everyone, it's Anne from Curious Moon Design. Welcome back. I have finally emerged from a deep dive into my craft room, and today I'm going to walk you through the aftermath. We're going through the keepers and the things I tried to get rid of and the things that I eventually moved on. And there are a few hidden gems that I forgot I owned. It's that time of year, isn't it? After Christmas or the holidays, you look at your craft room and you think, why have I got so much stuff? I have so much fabric and paper that if I lived for 100 years, I wouldn't use all of it. And as creatives, we see so much potential in everything. And so that's why we find it hard to let go. My family know how much I love crafting and always ask if I need more paper, cardboard, etc, etc. So this year I've asked them to not tempt me with it, just recycle it. There will always be more Amazon packing paper and brown paper envelopes, so I have no need to save more. How about you? Now, here are a few things that I've kept that I thought I couldn't live without. I've had this flower, it must be for about 5 years. I kept thinking I would use the petals on a page, and even now as I'm speaking to you I'm thinking, yes, I could use that petal on a page, but I haven't, so I think I'm going to move it on. But oh, it's hard to move on, isn't it? I've got absolutely bags and bags of these things. They were given to me with some fabric. They're what go the ties that go on blinds. They are very useful for all sorts of reasons, but I have got so many of them. I'm going to put this all in a little bag, put it in the, see if anyone wants it for crafting. Not all these things, but these, they were serviette rings back in the day when we had some parties outside in the garden, and I thought, yes, they could be useful, but for 6 years I've looked at them and thought, what could I use them for? Well, they're really serviette rings, and that's how they'll have to stay. If I straighten them out a bit. They are very pretty. Oh no, I mustn't keep them. No, they've got to go. Just bits of tape like this that I'm not going to use. I have lots of Velcro, and this one's just stuffed in with it, and it's all... Why do we keep these things? This is off a bra strap. I mean, why would I keep that? I'm thinking I could use those things probably, and that it is very lovely, silky. But no, I mustn't. Little bits of elastic. I've got so much elastic. I've got a huge box of elastic, and this one's been stitched, so but it just feels awful not using it. But I've got so many, and there's Velcro. I've got so much Velcro. Little bits of lace, bits of string. I've got a whole pot of string. This I kept thinking I could use it as a tassel, but it's so tangled, and there are lovely beads on it. You see, I start talking myself round and thinking I could do something with it, but I've had it there 5 or 6 years and I haven't done anything with it. So, you know, I'm gradually going round and being a bit ruthless. Why do we keep such things? The other thing I found I kept, I always keep a little tin of Vaseline in my handbag for my lips or something, and I've got a little bit of Vaseline left in them. Maybe I thought I would. I think when I was doing a project I had to smear Vaseline around something, and anyway, these ones are empty, but I thought I could make a pin cushion with that, with pins inside. And again, I'm talking myself around to this, but will I do it? I'm not sure I would. I've got loads and loads of corks, and I thought again, pins for pin cushions, and I've got all these old tins that I bought someone else's stash of needle and fabric equipment, and it had all these old tins in there, and I must go through these pins and things, and there's some of them probably rusty. But again, I've had them sitting in the drawer. I know people do make things with these little tins, and this one's very, very rusty. But again, I thought I could make something with it. I see such lovely things on Pinterest and think, oh, I could perhaps have a go at that. But and this one is, not sure if that's a tobacco tin. Anyway, those were in the drawer as well, so they come to the surface that I'd forgotten I had. So what I've done is I bought a lot of these boxes, and I'm basically filling them. I've had things in file folders and I'm really stored in a muddly way, so I'm trying to be a bit more organised, so I feel a bit more inspirational when I come into the craft room. So for instance, this box, I'm cutting up all my tickets and Word pages that I've had in these files, and they'll just be handier for me to get out and use on my journals or pages. And I'm just cutting them into this sort of size piece and popping them in the box there with words and tickets, and I can easily go through them then. I've got far too many. I've obviously printed out too many at a time, but hey ho, I can't get rid of these because they are going to be very useful, and I really love adding tickets and words to collage and pages. But the good thing about digital printouts is that you don't have to print them out until you need them, and that's what I've been guilty of. I've printed them all out at once, so I won't need to print out for a while now. I'm not going to go through all those with you because, as you can see, I've got quite a few pages to cut up, but they're all going to fit nicely in that box, so that's a good start. So I found all of these in various folders, to one side. I always have a little sort out in January. It's like spring cleaning, isn't it? But I've been watching Joey DeFee as well with her craft room. She's got a huge craft room and she's been going through things systematically. I bought lots of these little boxes. They weren't very expensive, and these ones with clips on, I got them in a supermarket, sort of a pack of 3 or something. And this one I put all my wooden bits and pieces. This was taking up the whole of a drawer, so now I can just go through that and pick out the things I want. But isn't it so that you just want one thing for a project and you have to buy several dozen of them? So that's how you end up with so much in your stash. But I'm not going to buy any more wooden bits and pieces because I've got enough in there now I've sorted them. So that's good. I've been sorting out my sewing things as well. My embroidery silks I had in a big wicker basket, and they've all fitted into this lovely box. And as you can see, I've got loads and loads, and some of them need detangling, which I will do. So I must detangle those. And I found in my embroidery basket a little project that I started, must be about 20 years ago. I never got round to finishing it, what with work and everything. It was this little cross stitch, and we had little Westy. He was 19 when we lost him, and I thought I'd do a cross stitch. And look, I've done quite a bit of it, but I obviously put it away and forgot about it. So that's got to come out this year. I can sit and do that. even in the summer when I'm sat in the garden. So I'll get that finished, and that all fits in there quite nicely now. You won't think it will, but it does. And I put a little label on it, embroidery silk. I've got a few empty ones still, even though I've managed to finish most of the tidying. I've got all my dies now in one of these boxes. I don't own a lot of these. I tend to use the same ones over and over again. Celeste will be horrified when she sees, Celeste from Woodland Inspired, how I've got these stored. But as I say, I don't use a great deal of them. But they're all in one box now, so that's good. So that's that one. I went through all my buttons. This is a big tin of my lovely colourful buttons. And if I didn't have enough, I went and bought these the other day for a project. I didn't have this colour, so, but again, I only wanted 2, and I ended up with all of these, but still, I'm sure I'll use them at some stage. And then I've got a tin for white buttons and a little tin for brass buttons. So they're all in order now, and I've got a label on them, so I know exactly on the shelf what tin to pick up. This little collection took up a whole drawer, and it's all washi tapes. So I've got loads in there, and I must do some more projects with washi tapes. This is a few stickers, so I'm looking forward to using those now I've got them. When they were in the drawer, I tend to just take the ones at the top, but now I've got them in this little box, I'll be able to take them out and use the appropriate one for the project. Right, and I love these little boxes because they clip, and I've not labelled that one yet, I must do that. Now I had this beautiful box, it's velvet inlaid, and I had it stuffed with all sorts, so now I've just got all my envelopes in there, and I'm not going to take any more in there until I've used these. So I know exactly where they are now, so that's good. That's on the shelf. And I've got some really lovely tins, old tins that I'm trying to, I don't think this is old, but it's got an old photo on it. And I've just put all my pens and pencils in there, so they're all handy. They were all scattered in a drawer. Now my ribbons, this was taking up the whole of one drawer, and although they're squashed in there, I can now take them out and really sort through the ones I want, and they're all rolled up nicely, apart from that orange one. And I had bits of ribbon everywhere, so I now know that if I want a bit of ribbon, it's going to be in this box. It's just so much more organised. In one of my little boxes that I've and then the same for my lace and sort of cream ribbon I put in here. I've got, this is all for sort of needlebook work, and I use a lot of this lace and this very vintage lace, so it's all in there now. This was all scattered in a drawer. I didn't realise I had 2 lots of the tape measure tape, and lots of beautiful images on different tapes there, so I'm really delighted now that that's all in one box. So I can reach over, get it off the shelf. And I don't have an enormous stash of supplies, but it was scattered all over the room and not very easy for me to work with. I had lots of these pots that my mum had face cream. She always used to wash them out and ask me if I'd like them. I had such a lot of them, but they've been very useful for putting, this has got cotton tapes in. So instead of the shiny ribbon, I know I've got some sort of plain cotton tapes in there for my needle books. So I've been able to put that in my sewing drawer. Now here's something that I purchased that's going to be very useful for me. It's a file tray with 5 file trays in it, and I haven't labelled them yet, but I've got white paper in here, so that's handy when I'm journaling or just writing notes. This one is a mixture of napkins, a bit of newspaper, just for collage, so that's all in there. This is all brown paper, so not cardboard, but just all types of brown paper. This one is all my tea stained paper, so I've got lots of that. That was all in different areas, so it's nice to have it all in one place. And these are all my stamps that I use regularly, so those are just stencils and some stamps, my date stamp. So I've got all those there in the bottom. I'm going to put labels on all of those, but that sits next to me on my desk, so I know basically, and it's got a nice tray on the top, so that's useful. And I've got my scissors in the tray and a rubber and my tin with all my pens and things in on the top. That's been a useful buy. I think it was something like £6, so really pleased with that. I found so many treasures that I'd forgotten I'd got. This lovely bag with William Morris fabric. It's a strawberry thief, but it's in green, and I'm keeping my canvas in there at the moment, but it's so lovely. So I found that, and also I had a bag of old jewellery that I have to go through still, because some of them, that's a lovely button actually, a little bird on. Some of them will be very useful. But again, it was hidden at the bottom of a drawer, so I've reclaimed those. And I've reclaimed lots of storage now. I had this box which was full of things that I've now been able to organise a bit better, but I've got this whole box. It's a nice box, but it's not always handy to get things out of, but I am going to think about what I can use that for. But my daughter bought me this to hang on the door, a long time ago. Bless this mess. But now I can tell her I don't need it because it's more or less organised for the year. I'll probably have to hang it again about October. I hope you've been able to have a little tidy up in January, and it does help to get you back into the crafting game and feel a bit more inspired, and you find so many little treasures that you thought you'd lost. But you have got to be a bit ruthless and think, if I've not used that in 5 years, and am I ever going to use it? Because space is a problem, isn't it? And sometimes it can get on top of you and stop you practicing your art and craft. So let me know how you've got on, and I'll see you again soon. I'm going to start making some different needle books. I'm going to try and make a different one each month from my usual style, and also do a lot more junk journaling, making up books, because I've realised I've got lots of books that I can use and lots of papers. That's going to be my main theme. So do join me, and I don't know if you can hear, but it's absolutely pouring down outside, so no better place to be than in the craft room. Bye for now everyone, happy crafting.